There's been a lot of talk about wholesaling this week, and everybody thinks it's this miracle strategy when the reality is it's the simplest one that you can wrap your peanut brain around and actually make a few bucks, but it's not always the best strategy. Now we're going to talk about when not to wholesale. Stay tuned, smash that subscribe button.
I'm a hustler, homie. I'm a hustler, homie. I'm a hustler. I'm a hustler. I'm a hustler. I'm a hustler, homie. I'm a hustler.
So, in order to understand when you don't wholesale or sign a contract, they are one and the same, you should understand when you should wholesale. Now, wholesales or assignment of contracts are always best in equity deals. Those are deals that have a lot of money between the value of the property and the amount of debt or the mortgage owed on them, and your buyer is paying cash. See, if your buyer is taking out a mortgage, a lot of times the mortgage companies are not going to want to lend on wholesale deals because there's been some bad people out there that will artificially pump up the price of a deal and then have some poor first-time investor go out there and take out a mortgage for what the property is worth or even more. And not that the bank cares about that, they don't. They care about the fact that those people then can't sell those houses and make money, and there's a higher rate of default for the buyer who has taken out a new mortgage. So as a rule of thumb, wholesale deals are for when you have a cash buyer and it's an equity situation. So that being said, let's talk about when you don't wholesale. When you don't wholesale, many times is going to be when there's a mortgage buyer. Now, if somebody's going to take out a mortgage to buy your property, they're probably not the kind of deal that somebody's going to pay cash for anyway. This is going to be a retail deal, and this would be an example of when you're going to want to get the deed and record it, or you can put buyer together with seller on a purchase and sales agreement after the date of yours, and yours is already recorded. So now you have a lien on the property that you'll be compensated for, and you can later replace that with a mortgage or something else, or you could do the absolute assignment of rights, which is in your course. It's really complicated. I know we haven't talked about it a lot right now, which is actually a way to wholesale your retail properties to end buyers who are getting mortgages. But what I just explained is going to be a little bit easier. It's not a beginner strategy. It is typically a six-figure strategy. And I mean, if you've come up against this problem, do me a favor, just hit us up in the comments or send us a phone number. I'd be more than happy to reach out to you and walk you through it. I mean, honestly, it's because you're going to make more money because somebody's willing to pay close to what it's worth. They just don't have the cash, and a lot of times these are going to be bigger deals that are upwards of $250,000, $500,000 houses, $1 million houses. These are going to be what's called retail deals. Another situation where you are not going to be able to wholesale a property is going to be when your seller owes more on the property than it's worth. So that's going to be what's called a short sale, and you're actually going to have to negotiate with the bank and lower the amount owed below your contract price so you can actually make money. But you still can't assign it. You're going to have to pay that property off and then resell it for more. Okay? And don't worry if you don't have the money. Uncle Chuck does. Let's hear about it in the comments, or you can just hit us up on Facebook. We'd be more than happy to help you fund your transactions. We've got the connections and we've got the cash. You're welcome. However, if you've negotiated a property from $200,000 down to $150,000 and you've got it sold at $175,000, you cannot assign it for the difference between $150,000 and $175,000 because the bank will perceive it as somebody is making money off their loss. They want to be paid off, they want you to take title, and they want you to resell it. In many cases, this can happen the same day, but not with every bank. We have to check with them ahead of time. Either way, we've got the money to lend to you. Now, your exception with mortgage buyers is going to be hard money lenders. There are a lot of hard money lenders that will only lend to people who are sophisticated, accredited, experienced, have a track record, and they're more than okay with paying a wholesaler like me 20, 30, 50 grand just to turn a deal over to somebody else who's going to make money and succeed because they've seen me do that before. Another example of when you're not going to wholesale a property is maybe the property has equity in it, maybe it doesn't have much, maybe it doesn't have any, but there's a mortgage in place, and maybe it's only 3 months behind, maybe it's not behind at all, maybe you can rent it for more than the mortgage payment, which may not be a lot, but if I came up to you and I said, look, you can wholesale this property right now and make 10 grand, or you can rent it forever and pay off the $200,000 in debt associated with it and make $500 a month for the life of the loan, which would be the next 30 years. And then after that, since you're renting it for $2,000 a month and the taxes are only $12,000 a year, then you're going to make $1,000 a month collecting rent on that property after everything's paid off. Why would you go ahead and shoot the goose that laid the golden egg and somehow just get rid of this magical income stream because you needed 10 grand quick? Well, maybe that's the answer. You needed 10 grand quick. If you don't need the money, I'm a firm believer that cash flow over time is always better than a huge chunk today. But many of you are just starting your business. You need that first deal almost as much as you need oxygen. It just keeps you going. The last, most common occasion where you're not going to be able to wholesale a deal is going to be when the seller is not compliant, okay? When they don't want to do it, when you can't convince them to do it, you're not forcing anybody to do anything. Go ahead, exhaust all their options, introduce them to a realtor, tell them to try for sale by owner, try anything, okay? But you can't force somebody to do something they don't want to. Trust me, I know. I am a great salesman. I can't make up your mind for you, but by now, you've probably already made up your mind that you want to smash the link below and subscribe and probably check out the course as well. My name's Chuck Kohout. I've really enjoyed teaching you all about wholesales this week. Hope you've enjoyed us. Give us a thumbs up down there and smash the subscribe button. Share this all over your social media. I look forward to working with you in the future. Bye for now.